people focus on things like price. They focus on things like square footage. Very, very important. Okay. But you're not buying square footage. You're buying the neighbors.
That's
okay.
right.
Like literally buying the neighbors, because you look out your bedroom window. What are you looking at? Your neighbors. The wrong neighbor can ruin a house. Welcome.
Hi.
After Dark, episode 6. Sylvia Richards, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Been a while?
It has been.
What's new? What's exciting?
Oh, lots of stuff on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So the topic this week, if you've been watching these, as you know, we're quick, we're to the point, we don't mess around. But I saw the topic that the guys talked about this week, and it was neighbors and neighborhood, and thought of you right away. You live on a pretty cool but pretty unique street.
I do.
Okay. And I think, actually, what's neat, small world, my sister lives in your street and you live behind the guys.
I do.
So there's kind of nowhere to hide for you, almost like you're in a little bit of a fishbowl, which is important to consider. I mean, I'm not sure if you could pick something like that up when you're looking to buy a house, but what we're going to talk about today is neighbors and neighborhood. You know, and I think it's so important. I mean, you've bought a ton of properties for clients. How often do people bring up the neighbors or bring up the neighborhood? Not enough.
No.
Okay. Quite often it's us that brings it up. Like people focus on things like price. They focus on things like square footage. Very, very important. Okay. But you're not buying square footage. You're buying the neighbors.
That's
okay.
right.
Like literally buying the neighbors, because once you're in your house, you look outside, your neighbors are there, especially with how dense they're building homes. It's bananas. So I think it's so important. I mean, what you've purchased doesn't stop at your lot line. I mean, you know, how often, and I don't know the configuration of your house, but you look out your bedroom window, what are you looking at? Your neighbors. Okay. So something very important to consider. The wrong neighbor can ruin a house.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, ruin a house. I've had 2 situations now over the past 7 years. I can't believe I've been in real estate for 7 years. One, we were actually preparing an offer to put in, and my client, he didn't even tell me he was going to do this, but good on him for doing it. He actually went, as I was preparing the offer, and talked to some of the neighbors. Okay. He did a walk along the street,
Smart.
and the person right beside him, he thought was an absolute dick. Right from the original introduction, he was a super young guy. His neighbor had been there for a long time. They had a mutual driveway, and right off the bat, he kind of got into him. We ended up not putting in an offer on the property, which was good, because I think it saved a lot of headaches down the road. I just had a conversation with somebody over the holidays. Just before, actually, I think it was end of November. They called me and they wanted a sign on their lawn the next day because they hated their neighbor.
Oh no.
Hated their neighbor. And this was in town here. And this was a neighbor who, you know, over the years they'd gotten to know, were at each other's wedding, but it just went sideways. Okay. So you got to really, really be careful. A street like yours, for example, you guys are super social. It's great. But what if I'm super introverted and I don't want to hang out with you guys, you know, and I'm not being a dick by not wanting to hang out, but that's not my thing.
Yeah.
Is a street like that right for you?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So very important. You know, the best neighborhood on paper might not be the right one for you. So very important. Interview your street. Don't just interview the neighbor. Check it out at different times. You live it. You live on a unique street. Pretty cool. But what do you think? Neighbors, neighborhood.
I agree completely, because to your point, okay, so especially in neighborhoods like mine, proximity, right? I mean, I live, like you said, right behind the guys. And before we even had fences, I remember Ariel, I could tell you exactly what he was cooking for dinner, because that's how close we are.
I'm so happy that's where you went. I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh, I could very much say something else, but that's exactly what it is. Like my kids, my boys, you know, they sometimes used to tend to walk naked. I'm like, shut the shutters because the neighbors can see you.
Yeah.
We are so close. So, yeah, you can definitely see, like you can, you know, I could probably throw stones at the neighbors. So you have to be careful with that. But also, to your point before, so we had, we're originals on our street, and so are a lot of our neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. And so it was probably going back now maybe 5 or 6 years. one of the families was selling their home. And we're very known for in the summertime having like street parties, get-togethers. And these get-togethers, these street parties would start in the afternoon and go all the way through the night.
Love the idea, but not everybody's thing.
Not everybody's thing. While our neighbors were selling their home at the time and they're like, you should have told us you were having a party. We're having showings. We're having an open house. And guess what happened? There was families that came during the open house. There was a street party. There was, we were having a good time. And they bought that house.
Your kids had clothes on at that point, right?
Our kids had clothes on at that time. Yeah. But those neighbors bought the house because they thought they were going to fit in with the neighbors, right? They're socials. They like that. And sure enough, the next street party that we had, they came and invited themselves. But it's... You don't know who you're going to live next to. I mean, my neighbors on one side decided to open up an Airbnb, right? If I would have known that, if that was, there before I had moved in, would I have chosen that? Probably not, right? Because, there's people there every day, new people every day. I don't know who you are. I don't know when you're coming, when you're going. So I think it all depends.
It's interesting you say that with the Airbnb because our street's really interesting. And it's funny, like I've done a number of transactions on my street and, I used to kind of joke about it a little bit, but my neighbors would always read me the riot act, bring us a good neighbor. And this, we're not incredibly social. We all get along very, very well. We're all respectful as neighbors, but we don't hang out.
Yes.
But they've all made a point of saying to me, especially the ones that know me, bring us a good neighbor.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
It's tough.
It is tough to do. And
because what's a good neighbor?
Right.
What might be a good neighbor to me is a good neighbor is not a good neighbor to you. I may like the people that are social and I can knock on your door and let's have a drink tonight. Yeah. Whereas you may prefer the neighbor that never comes out and keeps to themselves and is very quiet.
Well, it's funny you say that. I've got a couple doors down from me. You know who you are if you're listening. I think he listens sometimes. Super guy. Get along with him great. Golf, usually once, maybe twice a year. But he said something that really kind of stuck with me. And I thought it was absolutely perfect when it comes to neighbors. Like, love my neighbors, love getting along with my neighbors, but I don't want to hang out with my neighbors. Okay. So, that's his kind of flag in the sand. Knowing that, super cool.
Yeah.
If he's in his garage watching a sports game or something, I'll go over for a beer or something like that. But we're not hanging out all day, every day. I have another friend, really good friend of mine. They're all OGs on their street and they're famous for their garage parties. They all hang out and drink in their garage and do whatever in their garage. That's their thing.
That's their thing. And I think that goes along with being an OG.
Yeah.
And I think so, because that's what happened with us. We all bought at the same time. All our kids are relatively around the same age, give a year or two. So we went, and we've been there now for 12, 13 years. Wow. So we went through those stages together. We went through COVID together. We got through COVID together because we were having those garage parties and everything you were not supposed to do, we did for our sanity, right? To keep, right? That's what kept us going. So yeah, I think you're right. I think not what my ideal neighbor is may not be your ideal neighbor.
So here's a question for you. Thinking about this, I've had a few clients. I actually had a gentleman who I just did a lease for about 6 months ago. He actually did this. What would your thoughts be if somebody knocked on your door? Okay, you didn't know them. And I know it's tricky right now because of, you hear about these break-ins and stuff like that. But somebody knocked on your door and said, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house. Okay. The house is for sale on your street, so you're going to know which one it is. How would you respond to that person if they said, what's the street like? What's the neighborhood like?
It's happened.
Has it? Okay.
It's happened to me.
So how do you respond to that? Because I know some people, forget it, shut the door.
Yeah.
But, you're doing a service to them and to yourself, but being truthful to this person. So how'd you respond to that?
And you know what? I was honest.
Yeah.
I was honest. I said, it's a busy street. I said, there's lots of kids on the street. You're going to have kids playing manhunt, running in between the cars. If you're the type, don't touch my car, this is not a street for you. We had neighbors actually that didn't have kids and they lived across from me, one house over. And our kids would play with, this is when the kids were little, with chalk in front of their house, on the street. And they would come with a hose and hose it off. Yeah. Or they would they had a big Doberman. They would have to come out with their dog and have their dog stand at the end of the driveway.
So that's not cool for anybody.
No. And they moved. They did not stay very long because I think that was not the street for them.
So you think that had influence on them? The fact that they didn't fit in?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it was they were bothered by the kids, by not the chaos, but like just what comes with little kids, right? They're going to be loud in the summertime. Of course it's going to be loud. You want to have your windows open. You're going to hear kids screaming.
Yeah.
And that was our street.
Love
now, fast forward 12 years, all those kids are grown up and now it's just us old people having drinks and we're making all the noise.
I love it. I love it. So by the time this airs, the guys had mentioned the buyer's playbook, okay, that's going to be out. And one of the points that I looked at, which I think is so important that's in that buyer's playbook, is interview the street. Okay, because there's so many things that you can't see that might be disclosed. Don't just talk to one person. Don't talk to the person beside you. Okay, talk to a bunch of people. Like go at different times, especially now you have time. There's not urgency around purchasing most properties. So important. Check it out.
I agree.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think so.
Cut it there. Good chat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for watching. Episode 6, I think. Was it 6 or 5? Yeah. After Dark podcast. Let us know what you think.